Bobby Gore with the Post. It seemed like the defensive pressure with steals and forcing Otterbein into a lot of turnovers kicked up a notch towards the end of the first half. Can you guys talk about how that's sort of part of the identity of the team for this season?
Yeah, on practice we harp on that defensive intensity and trying to speed teams up. Like I said, we do that every day in practice when we practice. And especially when we have good guards like myself, Jose, Jalen, Miles. We make each other better, and that's just something that Coach emphasizes. And so that's really what we wanted to, emphasize today and really show that our defensive intensity could really help us on the offensive end.
Bobby Keegan with the Post. So obviously just a scrimmage today. You guys seem to come out like a little bit slower than maybe you guys would have liked. So kind of what was the mindset just coming into the game, and what did it take to get going there at the end of that first half?
I think in the beginning it's just all jitters, first game in front of fans. We just got to get going and just really just stick to our game. And what coaches tell us in the locker room and stuff is they're a nameless and faceless opponent. So respect them and play your game. So then you don't have to go out there and start off slow and then pick it up at the end. So I think that was a big thing that we need to work on is our preparation and just staying in the moment and just respecting our opponent and giving it 100%.
Peyton Brooker with WAEB. Even though this was just a scrimmage again, just what was just kind of like the feeling just being back on the court, just getting back into the groove, going into practices, just getting back right into where it kind of left off last year?
Well, last year, we made it to the MAC tournament. We beat Ball State, and then we lost to Toledo. So going into this year, we bring it back more than half the team. We just have the same identity, same thing, just to play hard and to get back in the same situation, but this time have a better outcome. So I think moving on forward is just keep getting better and better, and when that time comes, just exceed.
Yeah. Obviously, the starting lineup, 4 guards, sort of a smaller starting lineup. How can you guys use that to your advantage in the full court with your speed?
I'd just say I think it could really, like you said, usually 4s are probably taller. Like you said, we're a small group. So I think the speed and how fast we want to play, I think that could really mess up teams. And then we also, the 4 guards, we didn't shoot good today, but that's what we want to do. We want to space teams out so we can have driving lanes and kick out threes and easy baskets. And I think when we have that small group, we could produce that. You got 4 players out there who can all dribble and make plays. And so I think when you have something like that, you have playmakers, I think it makes it easier, and I think that's what the coaches see. It's obviously first game, first exhibition, and we'll keep getting better, but I think that's a small group will definitely help us out.
So Shereef, obviously it was your first game out there in an Ohio uniform. What was it like just to be out there in front of the fans for the first time? How can you describe that experience?
It was just truly a blessing. I was just literally talking to Jose on the bench. I'm so happy to be here with these guys. I feel so fitted in. Just working every day, especially with Jalen. We have a very close relationship back to high school. And so just being out with him and then, getting to know these guys and growing with them and building that team chemistry, it's been great. I was so glad to be out there, and I'm going to be happy to continue the journey with this group.
Question for either one of you. What's going to be one key takeaway going up against next week against Troy?
I think it's mental toughness, and just toughness on the court. Once we get that and then our intensity, pick it up, intent with everything, starting from when we wake up and when we have shoot-around, just straight intent with everything that we do. And I think with that will definitely help us going forward.
First of all, shout out to women's soccer playing in the championship game. Awesome. I got to watch most of it today. And, field hockey plays tomorrow. Try to tune in for the first half of that. But always good to see everyone doing well. It's good to play against somebody else. Otterbein's a very well-coached team. Their guards, we knew coming in, their guards are really good. Player of the year in their league, freshman of the year. Then they had a transfer, Clement. It was a Division III All-American. So I thought it was a good challenge for us, from that standpoint. Thought they ran some really good stuff. And, the end of the first half was really good for us. The stretch where we put it from 3 to 12. And Shereef Mitchell and Jalen Hunter, were 2 big pieces to that. We had some guys who really haven't played a whole lot. Aiden Hadaway played 17 minutes. Didn't play a whole lot last year. Ike Cornish transferred from Maryland, 15 minutes. Didn't play a whole lot last year. AJ Sheldon. So it was good to get those guys some minutes, some reps, and excited to start this year.
Bobby Keegan with the Post. So obviously, Coach, this being a scrimmage game, what was it that you were kind of looking for out of the team, and how does that compare to what you?
Yeah, it's a great question. Double Bobbies, yeah. I think going in, you want to play the right way. Things you work on defensively and offensively. Normally, three different things. Defensively, for us, transition defense is big. Deflections, disrupting, which we didn't do a great job of that. And then rebounding, which I didn't think we did a great job of that as well. But a lot to learn from and show them on film. And then offensively, when we got our stops in transition, I thought we were really good in transition in that middle stretch. Not so great at the end. Trying to create offense from our defense, and then a little disappointed our shooting. We were 5 for 27. Obviously, that's too low. But I have to look and see where the shots came from, what they were like.
Bobby Gorbert from the Post. Obviously, the starting lineup is a bit on the smaller end with 4 guards. How can you guys sort of use that to your advantage, and is that kind of the game plan for?
Yeah, I think it might be a little fluid too. I think when you play those guys, you're going to give up something, and you're going to get something out of it. And there's times in practice. I think Elmore James, Jalen Hunter, Miles Brown, and Shereef are all elite on-ball defenders. So when you play smaller, you got to press up a little bit more. Use your quickness to your advantage. I thought we disrupted their offense, a lot of times, and their 5-man kind of bailed them out by catching the ball at the elbow and playing off their 5-man. And then rebounding obviously is a concern. When you do that, so. It's something we need to look at, we need to work on, and we obviously got to get better at it.
Peyton Brooker with WAB. Just kind of like, every year is kind of different with every other team. What's just kind of the feeling for this season, like with this team having some new people, some old coming in. So what's just kind of like the feeling with this?
Yeah, like you said, every year is different. Last year we had the luxury of leaning on Dwight Wilson, which we don't have that this year. But I think it's an evolution of trying to figure out what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and this is the second time against somebody else. So playing against Duquesne, showed us something. Obviously playing against a well-coached, Division III team who's going to win a lot of games this year. They run good actions, so it's good to have on film so we can show these guys. Now it's a matter of taking that from the game to film to practice, and really just getting better. The things we need to get. But, every year's different. We got some veterans, returners, and like you said, we got some new guys who really haven't played a whole lot. So there's a mix in there. We got to get those guys who don't have a lot of experience, up to speed and, doing things, how we need them to do it.
So you guys kind of got off to a sluggish start, both offensively and defensively, and then kind of went on that 7-0 run to end the half. So what was it that the team kind of needed to do?
Yeah, I think sometimes early we were trying to do a little too much individually instead of moving the defense around. We preach ball reversals and paint touches, so that's another piece of our DNA that we really lock in on every practice, every game. And the more ball reversals, definitely one, and the more paint touches you have, collapse the defense, where you're creating a disadvantage, defensively. And so I thought we didn't do that early. And then with the stretch we made our run, it was defense. I thought Jalen and Shereef were really good defensively. And I think I said it was a 3-point game, maybe with whatever time to go, and then we closed out, got up 12 at halftime.
You mentioned some of the depth in the backcourt earlier. How can that be used as a strength for this team throughout the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's something we got to keep figuring out. Just trying to find a way to get our best guys on the floor, and like we talked about earlier, when you go smaller like that, you're going to give up something. So you got to be a little peskier. You got to fly around a little bit more. You got to communicate a little bit more. Get some easy baskets in transition. But I'm excited about our backcourt. I think those guys are going to be really good for us all year long.
And looking towards next week for this Wednesday game, it's going to be a huge game against Troy. Expecting maybe to be a packed crowd and something like that. From the Sun Belt Conference, a tough team. Kind of like any emotions and takeaways going in.
Yeah, like you said, they're very well coached. I've known their coach for a while. We got a chance a couple years ago in Daytona to see them play live, and they play extremely hard. I think they brought in around 9 new players this year, so they have a new team, but their 2 guards that are coming back are really good. They're long and athletic, so they'll pose some challenges for us just by the way they play.
Tonight, you guys really seem to try to spread the ball around a lot on offense. You had 5 players with more than 7 points. Will that kind of be a focus going forward in the season? Not being able to lean necessarily on Dwight Wilson, who led the team in scoring last year, to just get.
Yeah, I think that'll be one of our strengths, Bobby's. Ideally, I think I'd like to have 3 or 4 guys in low double figures. A couple guys high 8, 9s. We got guys capable of scoring 20, multiple guys. And I think the big thing for us is trusting each other, sharing the basketball. And, a little concerning, we only had 6 assists on 26 baskets. You'd like that to be a lot higher ratio. But, it was good to get out here and play against somebody else and, have something on tape where you can watch it and work on it.